a real estate agent, and an accountant, an
Mm-hmm.
attorney, like a general contractor. There's people that you need. And
Yeah.
then the squad of people that you want to have around you. And this is more
Mm.
so for investing
Sure.
because if I tell you and you're renting, for example,
Yeah.
and I tell you I already have a house and I'm about to get started investing in real estate and buy more property.
Okay.
Whatever fear that you potentially have, you're going to put those fears on me.
Yeah.
And whether or not I'm strong enough
Yeah.
to do what I said I was going to do, you potentially can have me like, oh, you know what? It is too risky. Oh, the market is too
Mm.
uncertain. Or I don't know what I, if I, all
Right.
this rhetoric
Yeah.
that goes on. So you got to be real careful that if you're going to decide to invest in real estate, then you need to surround yourself with other
Mm.
people who are
Yeah.
investing in real estate.
Hey there, my little biz besties. Welcome back to In Good Company, where real entrepreneurs share real growth stories. Thanks for liking and subscribing to my channel. Let's get into it.
You are the most beautiful real estate agent package that I think any scared, new home potential owner would want to meet. And I genuinely mean that, not only because I was telling you about our experience, your face when I was telling you told me everything, what I was feeling when we were going through the process. Like, is this how it is? Because this feels really hard. And there were a lot of tears, and there were a lot of, I don't think we can do this moments, and not a lot of coaching. So I think what you think is normal, I will tell you, is not in every real estate agent. And I want to hear more about your approach. And hopefully, other people will feel less intimidated by home ownership. When I said to you, we tried to buy a home 2 years ago. Well, we tried. We started looking it up. What do we need to do? Because you can't just walk into a home buying store and say, I want to buy a home. Like, it's a process. And when we started, it felt really hard. And so we said, let's just keep renting. And we were not getting the service that maybe we needed and could have done it sooner. So, talk to me about when you made that face that told me everything. Do you think it's easier to rent? Or what makes more sense? If someone is in that position, they want to buy a home and they tell you, Dana, it's just easier to rent. What would your response be?
So, like you said, to say that is like your fingers on a chalkboard for
Yeah.
me because renting, number one, you're in real estate. You're either paying for your mortgage or
Mm-hmm.
someone else's. And so, what I'm seeing from an investor perspective is that let's say you rent for to the same from the same person for 30 years because it easily can happen.
Sure.
And then as the owner, I come along and say, you know what? My daughter needs a place to stay now. You
Mm.
have to find someplace else to rent. Well, guess what? You pretty much have paid off that house.
Yeah.
And so investors are doing that every single day. And
Yeah.
so because you don't have your own home, you're at the mercy of someone else.
Yeah.
And this day and age, we don't want to give that type of power to anyone else.
Right. Right. Not having a home, I mean, that's a lot of power.
That is a lot of power. And
Yeah.
then right now, and I hate to say it, but this is the truth, there's no legislation
Mm.
as to how much I can increase your rent because I am an investor as
Mm.
well and I do own property.
Yeah.
But there's no law that says, oh, you can only increase rent by
Mm.
X percent.
Sure.
So I can increase the rent as much as I want. And that's what we're seeing today as well. I know
Yeah.
someone right now who was paying $1,700 to rent
Yeah.
and her rent was raised to $2,100. Who has $400 more dollars a month?
Extra.
Who
Yeah.
has that? And
Mm.
so I don't believe that everybody is homeless because of bad decisions,
Right.
but something that happened to them, like a rent increase. For the most part, a lot of
Yeah.
people are one increase away from being
Mm.
homeless.
Oh, that's Oh, that's so, I got chills because I know so many people that are in that position right now, that have always rented, family members. You know, they live in a apartment complex and they've been paying the same thing for 10 plus years. You know, maybe $10 increase here or there, nothing substantial that made them think, am I going to have a home to live in? And within the past year or so, the increase was so substantial that they are feeling like we need to get new jobs. We can't afford to live here. We should probably get a second job to afford the home they've lived in for 10 plus years. And you're telling me when you are a renter of a home, we're already doing the hard part, which is paying the monthly mortgage.
And chances are you're paying substantially more
Mm-hmm.
than the mortgage. And that's what we, as investors, that's what we call cash flow because that's
Sure.
the goal. The
Yeah.
goal is if my mortgage payment is $1,000 and I
Mm-hmm.
rent to you for 1,500, now I
Mm.
have a cash flow of 500. Of course,
Yeah.
there's other expenses that go along, but for the
Sure.
most part, that's the cash flow. So you're
Yeah.
you're paying for their legacy and not your own.
So you're saying there can be legacy in real estate.
There is legacy in real estate, absolutely,
Okay.
because we want to have something to pass down to our children.
Yeah.
Imagine if and I'm a single mom, so from a single mom's perspective, I want to be able to pass something down, a house down to my son,
Mm-hmm.
so that he doesn't have the same struggle that
Mm-hmm.
I potentially have. You're
Yeah.
going to be up if I can pass you down a house, as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to you're going to have to go through that same struggle.
Yeah.
And then if when I pass
Mm.
a house down to you, maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you already have my house. My son does already have a house,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm leaving that to my grandchildren so they can
Yeah.
have a house. So you have so many more options with real estate. And that's what I
Yeah.
love to say.
Yeah.
Real estate gives you options.
Mm. Which is so interesting to hear that after what we were talking about. How I said how hard it felt to even get into buying a home. But you're saying I've been in real estate all along because I was already paying the mortgage, which is the hard part. That the sustaining the payment is the hard part. So when someone comes to you, obviously I wish I would have met you 2 years ago. That would have changed everything. And they're really hesitant. They think, well, I have to be wealthy to own a home, or um, it's just too hard to get all the stuff together. Or, well, I own a business, and so it's really hard for me to prove I make money. And I'm saying that from an accountant's perspective because I have gotten really good at making my business bottom line get smaller. So my tax liability
Absolutely.
is low.
Absolutely.
I'm probably shooting myself in the foot because when it comes to buying the home, I was like, oh no, I've done a good job lowering the liability. But now how do I prove that I actually can make payments on something? So here's where your coaching obviously comes in because we didn't have that. Here's the list of things. Let me know if you want to see a house. And imagine how overwhelming that is.
Oh, my word.
I was like, I don't know. I just want to see some houses that have like black accents because I'm a millennial and I love black accents. So, how would you approach something like that? That might be different than what I explained, or those scared new home owners that maybe have no experience. They come to you.
I really like to sit down with the potential buyers and have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Yeah.
And that helps with building trust as well and building that relationship from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talk about, what are some of your wants versus nice to haves.
Mm-hmm.
And then I explain to them that real estate is a trade off. Because unless you have millions of dollars, chances are you might not be able to afford everything on
Right.
your first house.
Yeah.
So, what are the things that you absolutely would love to have? And then what are the things that you're like, that would be nice to have? So, like,
Sure.
for example, a lot of people are like, oh, I want, 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, and I want a
Mm-hmm.
basement and everything.
Yeah.
And then you get pre-qualified. So I recommend lenders that I work with who
Okay.
I know that can get you to the closing table, because that's a scary piece of it, as well as who
Yes.
do I even go to
Yeah.
get a mortgage from?
Right.
So if I'm able to give you a couple people that you can reach out to that I know are going to help you through the process, are going to let you know, okay, these are the things that you need,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be able to give you an amount that you qualify for.
Okay.
I typically like to have the conversation first of your wants and your nice to haves,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a conversation with the lender. Because
Sure.
here's the cardinal sin. This is the cardinal sin.
Yep.
Looking on Zillow, looking on realtor.com before you know
Yeah.
how much you qualify for. Why is that the cardinal sin? Because you're looking at $400,000 houses, $1 million houses, and then when the lender says you qualify for 150, now you're frustrated and you don't want to do anything because you don't
Yeah.
like what 150 looks like.
Right.
So that's the cardinal. So that's what
Oh,
I preach to everybody.
don't do it.
Don't look first. We have
Yeah.
a conversation. Now I understand what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go to the lender, and then they let you know how much you qualify for. And then
Okay.
based off of how much you qualify for, now I look in that price range for the things that you said that you wanted.
Yeah. Zillow is like social media.
It really is. No shade
Man.
on Zillow,
No, I mean
but
they're killing it, obviously.
they are.
But like,
They really are.
but it's so easy to scroll. And you realize how judgmental you get about homes that you have no business like even looking at. I swear. Like $500,000 homes, and you're like, that rug though. Like, I like the house and I would get it, but that rug, we just can't do that. Then you see the $150,000 homes and you're like, oh, that's a shack. What?
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you're renting, and I told you we were renting in a very nice area. We are from Georgia. So when we moved over here, just very clean, well maintained. Those are pricier homes. So then when we went to buy a home, we were in the mindset of, well, we want to have something like we were renting, because that we want the transition to feel similar, right? And when we realized how much that home cost, we were shooketh. We were like, oh my gosh, this is like a $500,000 home.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to do any of the pre-qualifications to buy it. We were renting it. So totally different. When we went to Zillow and looked up that price, because we thought we'll get something similar. I mean, we were in a tailspin. So this is where your coaching really helps too, because you were saying in our pre-gaming that mindset is a big part of purchasing a home. I never thought of that. I just lived it. So tell me, what are some of the mindsets that you've seen, and maybe some that you felt like you had to help them work through? Because that would have changed a lot of things, I think.
Yes. And so it's interesting that you said you already picked up on how important mindset is.
Yeah.
And that literally is the first chapter of my book, is mindset, because the mindset that you must have
Yeah.
is that you're not going to quit until you get to the finish line.
Mm.
Even though things are going to happen and it may be tough and it might
Yeah.
get frustrating, but you have a real estate agent in your corner that is going to help, that should help coach you through the process,
Yeah.
and to let you know what to expect at every stage,
Yeah.
so that it's not this big, oh, you know what? She said that was going to happen. So that it's not that, oh no, this is what's happening. And then, you back away.
Right.
And then you say, you know what? I'm just going to keep renting. Like, no, we don't want you to do that, because, like I said before, you're just building a legacy for somebody else. You have to make sure that, you know what? My mindset is real estate is all about solving problems.
Oh.
Once you
Okay.
understand that, even from an investor perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it's on both sides when you're
Yeah.
buying a home as well as investing. That was the biggest light bulb moment that I had,
Yeah.
is that it's just solving problems. But guess what? We don't like problems. But
No.
once I know that real estate is all about solving problems, your lender's going to ask you for your paycheck stub. Oh, what? That's a problem. When I find it, oh, a solution. I gave it to her.
Yeah.
So the entire process, that's what it is. And if I can let you know those nuggets along the way, then you're like, oh, she said that. Oh, she said that too.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
way it should alleviate. Or you know what? Your number one person that is going to help you through the process is your real estate agent.
Should be, yes.
Should be your real estate
Best case
agent. And
scenario.
I'm going to go on record and say that if your real estate agent is not helping to coach you through the process and you're having to do everything, I'm going to go ahead and say you should find yourself another agent.
Yeah.
Because you've never bought a house before,
Yeah.
but they have been through several transactions.
Sure.
So I shouldn't expect you to do all these things on your own, and you've never done this before.
Yeah.
Like,
It's overwhelming. There's so many.
I
Yeah.
do it all the time. You don't.
Yeah.
So to have that expectation that you already know everything about the whole process
Right. That's
is
crazy.
not right. So the mindset is that I want you to have is that depend on your real estate agent.
Yeah. Reach
Like,
out to them
they're
with
there.
questions.
Yes.
And
And so
yeah.
this is another thing that I see is that if you're looking, the cardinal sin, if you do look on realtor.com and you are working with a real estate agent,
Yeah.
like call your agent
Mm.
and let them know you're interested in the house, because we'll get referrals and I'll be having a conversation with someone and they're
Yeah.
like, they already have a real estate agent. And I want to say, but I didn't. Why are you filling out the information on realtor.com? Call your agent and
Yeah.
have them set that up. If they're
Right.
not setting that up, then they're not doing their job.
Yeah. Who wants to do more admin work? Not me. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm going
No.
to, and then
Yeah.
even going to open houses. I know
Yeah.
you drove by and you saw that open house sign and
I
you just
did.
popped in and you already have a real estate agent.
I did.
No, you don't want to see the house with everybody else, every other Joe
No.
Blow. You have a real estate agent. You should be scheduling, your real estate agent should be
Yeah.
scheduling a private showing for
Oh.
you to see the house, not with everybody from the neighborhood.
I don't
No,
want that.
you have a professional
Yeah.
you have a professional that should be in your corner who is working on your best interest on your behalf.
Right.
And that's what we're supposed to be doing.
VIP setup.
Yes,
I would love
I'm
that.
a VIP kind of person.
Okay.
And I like customer service
too.
and I like good customer service
Yes.
and I want you to have the best experience
Yes.
possible, because then you're going to tell your friends about me.
I'm gonna tell everybody.
If you don't have a good experience, then you're never going to let my name come off your lips ever again.
Well, not in a good way.
Not yet. Right. Not in a good way.
I love reading reviews, but I also love writing reviews. And I always tell that to someone when I start working with them. Not as like a, you better do right. But I tell people that maybe as a business owner, I don't know, maybe because I'm a Karen deep down before there was even a Karen, I will write a review for you, whether you exceed expectations or I was disappointed. And I let them know that ahead of time. And it's so weird when I say that, people like almost get upset. They're like, well, I don't want you to write a bad review. And I'm like, why did you go there first though?
Right. Because if I am upholding a standard,
Yeah.
then that should be a challenge to me to
Yeah.
make sure that I am a 5-star person.
Yeah. If you're confident in what you're doing, you have nothing to worry about. If you're going to deliver those deliverables that you said, you should be excited that I'm going to write a review and give you 5 stars. Most people are like, oh, well, but I like reading reviews. I want people to know. Even on Amazon, if I buy something on Amazon and I'm like, this was such a good buy. I'm like, this was such a good buy. Here's a picture of me with this. I know it's so. Maybe I have too much time on my hands, but I do love reviews. So you casually mentioned your book. You said first chapter. So you have a book.
Yes.
And I did not know that until our friend Bridget came in here and said, make sure to mention your book. I mean, what is this book and where can we get it? What is it about? Tell me the details.
A beginner's guide to financial freedom through investing in real estate.
Mm.
So I had gone through a speaker program
Mm-hmm.
and they brought back some speakers that had graduated from the program.
Oh, okay.
And so just to kind of see their success. And
Yeah.
one of the guys that they brought back said that he didn't get a speaking engagement because he didn't have a book. And I'm like, oh, guess that means I'm writing a book. And so either the very next day or really in a close proximity,
Yeah.
I run into my cousin who's a publisher.
Okay. Oh,
And
What?
right.
Okay.
And so she was like, okay, kind of giving the outline for writing a book.
Yeah.
And so she was like, here's my card. Just call me when you're ready. And I was like, no, I don't work like that.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'll have the book by the end of the month.
Oh, you gave yourself a deadline.
Yes. And
Okay.
so once I realized another personal development, but once I realized
Yeah.
I work better with deadlines, that's another thing. Like, figure out how you best succeed.
Yeah.
If you work better with deadlines or if you don't, like, make sure you have all of that self-awareness so
Sure.
that you can accomplish your goals. So
Put
anyway,
it in place. Hmm.
give it deadline. I'll have the book to you by the end of the month.
You were going to write a book in 30 days.
Oh no, it was the middle of the month. It was like June the 14th. I wrote the book in like 10 days because
Okay.
once I'm crystal clear, because I had a couple questions for her and she was like,
Mhm.
because I was like, should I write the book about real estate or
So
do
many
like a
things.
devotional, whatever? She was like,
Right.
real estate. She was like, what are the 7 to 10 things? And so I just, first chapter is mindset, second
Mhm.
chapter is talking about relationship.
Mm.
The thing you hear the most about real estate is that it's a relationship business.
Yeah.
And I'm one of these people, clearly I'm hard headed, that I have to hear things multiple times and I'm
Sure.
like, it's a relationship business. Like, it literally is a relationship business.
Mm.
So who do you need to have on your team in order
Yeah.
to be successful?
Yeah.
A real estate agent and an accountant, an
Mhm.
attorney, like a general contractor. There's people that you need.
Yeah.
And then the squad of people that you want to have around you. And this is more so for investing,
Sure.
because if I tell you and you're renting, for example,
Yeah.
and I tell you I already have a house and I'm about to get started investing in real estate and buy more property.
Okay.
Whatever fear that you potentially have, you're going to put those fears on me. And whether or not I'm strong enough to do what I said I was going to do, you potentially can have me like, oh, you know what? It is too risky. Oh, the market is too uncertain. Or I don't know what
Right.
all this rhetoric
Yeah.
that goes on. So you got to be real careful that if you're going to decide to invest in real estate, then you need to surround yourself with other people who are
Yeah.
investing in real estate so that when the problems happen, which they will
They will.
happen,
Yeah.
you're surrounded by people who can help you solve the problems.
No, I love that.
That's what makes it
that is
easier.
it. And they say I don't know who they are,
I know.
but they say that you are who you surround yourself with. And that's one of those sayings that, like, when people say it is what it is, and you're like, why did you say anything? Because you didn't say anything at all. You are who you surround yourself with. When I would hear that, I never realized how much that affects business until I was a business owner in a family of W-2 employees saying, I'm going to start a business. And they're like, what? You are in an industry that can provide you a stable paycheck and health insurance. Why would you do that? I started feeling that you are who you surround yourself with. My in-laws own businesses. Totally different conversation. What a great idea. That seems like something you could do and bring your family in. Yes, keep going. So you're validating that by saying you want to do real estate investment, which kind of sounds like my nightmare. But I just got through my first one. Give me like a year or so and I'll be like, yes, queen, let's do it together. You're saying when you surround yourself with people that are doing the thing you are doing or want to do, the good energy will help you keep going. The validation, the questions you might have that you're maybe afraid to ask people that are hesitant with investing, they're going to give you their opinions, and that's just going to slow you down.
Absolutely. So watch this. To your point, you are the average of the people that you hang around.
Yeah.
So if you hang around 4 broke people, guess what?
I love this already.
You're going to be the fit.
Oh, no, I don't love that.
But if you hang around 4 millionaires, guess what?
I like that.
You're going to be the fifth. So you get to decide.
Oh.
And so even if you're thinking, well, if I'm broke, how can I get myself around millionaires? There's YouTube University. There's networking events like and paid it's okay to pay to go to a networking event because guess what? The people in that room are going to be different than the people who are at the free networking events.
Oh, sure.
So get yourself in the right room. If you're the smartest person in the room, we've heard it. you're in the wrong
Yeah,
room.
get out of there.
Like, I want to be able to be in a room where I can learn from other people
Yes.
and not everybody's looking at me like I'm some sort of unicorn. That's the
Yeah.
wrong room.
I mean, it feels good for like 5 minutes.
And then you're like,
I'm out, I've outgrown this. I need to be somewhere else. So obviously mindset is a huge part, which is why it's literally the beginning of your book. It is what you start with. And that probably feels like the hardest thing for people to get through when they're buying, investing. So once they can get through that, what does the rest look like for you in the book?
relationships. Building the relationships, and then the squad of people that you hang around. And then I just walk you through the process. And it's an easy read. One of the things that, shout out to Laura Miller McDonald, that was my supervisor that forced us to give feedback.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want to get feedback. Like, she made us do it for our annual review. That's how we had to.
Okay.
So I do it
Yeah.
grudgingly.
Thanks, Laura.
And get right. And I get feedback from these people. And it was an interesting consistency amongst their feedback. They said things like, well, when Dana was able to join the project, we thought it was headed in the wrong direction, and she was able to help turn it around.
Okay.
She was able to simplify it and help us to figure out what we needed to do in order to get back on track. So when I bring that over to real estate, I have taken a complicated subject and made it simple. So that it's not so complicated.
Because it does feel complicated.
It does feel complicated.
It does. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
I work with business owners from a financial accounting perspective. And I frequently, you're going to die 1,000 deaths because you're going to be like, you're crazy. Frequently suggest to people that their business is doing well, it's nearing tax time, and I notice that their bottom line reflects how well their business is doing. And this is after I have hammered every tax deduction, every loophole. I'm like, listen, we need to like buy some real estate. I know. What am I talking about? Because then it took me 30 something years to buy a home. However, I'm good at giving the advice. But then when I went to do it, I was like, oh, not me. But I do tell business owners it is a huge tax advantage for the right people, to lower that tax liability. And I can see why relationships with accountants, because I am constantly trying to find real estate agents that, number one, can work quickly. Because by the time we've gotten to the point that I'm sitting with a business owner and I'm like, you need to buy something big, whether it's a piece of equipment, whether it is more vehicles for your fleet, or a building, we need to do it. And it's usually not sometime in 6 months do it. It's like, we need to do it in like 30 days. That relationship is so important with someone that's knowledgeable, can coach, and can get it done quickly. So any accountants out there, because it is a very common strategy, is that something that you do work with, like doing? You're nodding your head, so it's very validating for me. But talk me through that. Is that something you see a lot, especially within the past couple of years? I feel like it's more popular, more accepted.
I love, love, love that you said that.
Oh, good.
Because I'm also part of a cohort where, shout out to GLI, Power to Prosper cohort.
Yeah.
And they're business owners. And I tell people all the time, and I even spoke for them like a year before, maybe 2 years before, the importance of buying real estate, because chances are you're increasing your taxable income because you don't get the write-offs from real estate. So I love that you said that. And my broker, like you said, a strategy, having this conversation with your accountant is so important before buying a house. Like when you were saying that the goal is to reduce your taxable income, so that if you know you're about to buy a house, you need to have your conversation with your accountant and say, hey, don't write off so much. Help me to have income so that when I go to qualify, then it's showing that I'm making enough money.
Okay.
I'm doing okay, so I can afford a $400,000 house,
Right.
as opposed to only showing that, I barely make money.
Right.
So what my broker does, which I thought was genius, is like about October.
Mm-hmm.
She has 7 streams of income. She'll
Yeah.
look at the profits from all of her businesses,
Okay.
and she'll see that profit, and she goes out and buys real estate. So
Oh.
she has this evaluation in about October. But
Okay.
to your point, even if it's November, because
Yeah.
for the most part, that's our slow time anyway,
Sure.
it would be amazing to work with a bunch of companies that needed to buy quickly at the end of the year
Yes.
because everybody else is having holiday parties and
Yeah.
doing all of these things.
Right.
They're not thinking about the importance of buying in the fourth quarter.
Figure it out now. Yeah.
Figure that out now. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, that is
No, I love that.
brilliant strategy,
Love
and
that.
other people are doing that. So if you have a profit in your business, then
Yeah.
yes, would love to help you
No,
to
I love that.
buy real estate
Yeah.
so that you can reduce your taxable income. Because
Right.
when I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Oh, that's a good one.
and the book first of all made me mad in a good way
Yeah.
because it said that the middle class pay the most in taxes. And you know, if you growing up poor and you're like, oh, I need to get to the middle class, and you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm middle class, and you're like,
Oh,
but we pay
wait.
the most in taxes.
What do you mean? Yeah.
What do you mean we pay the most in taxes?
Yeah.
And I literally, when I was finishing the book, I had 2 years of my taxes because I was in the process of buying my first investment
Okay.
property.
Mm-hmm.
So I had them handy. And so when it said that, I was like, I go get my
Like,
taxes out. And I'm like,
wait, you lying? What you
I was
mean?
like, wow. I
Yeah.
had gotten a promotion
Mhm.
where I had an 18% increase. And when I had that increase, I paid 50% more in taxes.
Oh, I believe it. You were murdered. Yeah. It was. If you get it to the middle class, and I mean middle, like not low middle where you're like, oh, like we have some good times. Like middle, you're comfortable. You're getting murdered with taxes. And that is why it's so strategic to find the time of the year to make those purchases, to sit down and look at your numbers. The time isn't first quarter the next year because we can't buy anything and reflect in the previous year. And that's what I always, clients that I've had for years now, December, January, they're like, hey, let's sit down and like strategize. And I'm like, yeah, for next year? Like, there are some ways you can still save, for the previous year. There's some like Roth and retirement options and things like that. But the time to purchase is past because 12/31 is the last day that we can say it counts for this year. So I love that. And it's becoming more common, I think. It's more accepted. Years ago, some business owners, I don't want to own all that real estate. What am I going to do with all that? Well, you're not going to do anything. You're just giving the go ahead, and you have a team of people that take care of this. So there's strategy and beauty in that. So talking about ways to save, leaving the legacy, which I love that you bring those two together. Another aspect of that you're kind of touching is athletes. And I obviously hope that my kids are super athletic and take care of me one day. One of them, I already know. Ain't gonna be you, honey. Maybe the other one. Talk to me about how this all ties in together, because I think this is so relevant to what we're seeing with the changes happening on campus. And I don't want to say the wrong thing here. The allowance and gifts and pay that has changed recently. It used to be slide under the table, don't talk about it, but go with us. Then there was, here's the keys to this car, but you didn't get it from us. Here you go. Now you can openly gift and do the things. And so how do you come in with all this?
Right. I was listening to a podcast, and it was another one of those episodes where they're talking about athletes who made millions of dollars, but then when they retire, they're broke and they're filing bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And literally, I was like, why didn't anybody teach them how to invest in real
Right.
estate?
Yeah.
And that's when I literally got the nudge from the Lord, like, well, you could.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, Well, okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about legacy, most athletes, the one thing that they want to go to pro for is to buy mom a house. A lot of them are like, they were on the struggle bus,
Yeah.
or they, had to sleep in a room with 4 other cousins or
Sure.
whatever, and they want a house for their mom.
Well,
And so when you think about investing in real estate, and since now in college, you can earn money in college, why not go ahead and buy mom a house in college? Why wait?
us moms would love that.
And so then I live in the pocket of town between the University of Louisville and Churchill Downs. And what else is over there? The baseball stadium is over there. The football stadium is over there.
Yeah.
Why not have athletes invest in property over there so that when mom comes to town to watch Junior
Yes.
play, she's got a room to stay and she can walk to the football game. She can walk to the baseball game.
Yeah. I
Why are we
mean,
not doing that?
that is so good. Oh, I love that.
And then another thing is so that mom doesn't, hotels can sell out.
Yeah.
And how much money is mom wasting
Yeah.
in staying in a hotel when
And
she
sh-
comes to watch Junior
And
play?
she has to be there so frequently. How much money are you spending on that?
And we're close to the airport. So
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's such a crazy thought when you hear about these athletes, celebrities that go through a season of I'm going to say their money making season. They're making the most amount of money that they will their entire athletic career. They're in their prime. And it's so easy to think, well, where does all that money go? How do they spend it? Well, it's easy to spend money.
it's easy to spend money. It's far easier to spend money than
Yeah.
it is to invest
Yeah.
money. And
Yeah.
so you're going to be thankful. I think about this too, is that think about that community center where
Yeah.
you first started playing basketball.
Right.
What about if you bought that and now you own
Mm.
that? What about that neighborhood that you lived in where the houses potentially were boarded up and there was broken glass
Sure.
everywhere? What if you bought some of those properties and just completely transformed the
Changed.
neighborhood that you grew up in?
Yeah. How much better would you feel ending a career or transitioning out to something else, knowing that you directly impacted your community that gave you everything it gave you to bring you where you are?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be on your own or complicated. You just have to partner with someone that has your best interests and can take care of some of these things for you on the front end. So when you retire out, you're not filing bankruptcy. You have things working for you and you have a life to go into. Because we were kind of talking about in our pregame returning to civilian life when you have made a lot of money, celebrities, athletes, what have you. And then it comes to an end. There's this identity thing. And you were mentioning how it's a mental thing, but there's so many things that come into play. How do you get a real job? How do you manage real money? So you're coming in at the forefront saying, well, let's manage that before you don't have it and manage it well so you have something to come to after. Is that about right?
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
just think, if you have been building this portfolio all along,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say, for example, now we're seeing where athletes are only staying at a university for 1 year. Right?
Gosh.
So let's say you go to the University of Kentucky and you buy property there. Let's say you go to the University of Tennessee and you buy property there. Let's say you go to Colorado, you buy property there. Let's say you go to Washington, you buy property there.
Yeah.
And even now that you've got this, okay, I'm buying property, and then you go pro, and then you continue to buy property, once you're ready to retire, you have property all over the United States.
Yeah.
So now you have an identity because you're a real estate investor and a football player, a basketball player, or a
Right.
volleyball, whatever else,
Right.
so that all of your identity, all of your eggs are not in the football
athlete,
basket or the
yeah.
athlete. So now
Yeah.
you are more than just an athlete.
Mm.
You're an owner. You're an investor.
Yeah.
So you have multiple identities, and I didn't even realize it until we're talking about it now. The importance of that. So now that you don't feel like you're just one person, you're multiple people,
Yeah.
and people respect, for whatever reason, people respect people that have land.
That's so true.
They just do. So think about,
Yeah.
and I use this analogy all the time. Think about the game Monopoly. Imagine playing the game of Monopoly where the goal is to own everything by the end of the game.
Especially those dark blue ones.
Oh, especially.
Boardwalk.
So that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine going back to our renting conversation, imagine playing the game of Monopoly and not buying anything. How quickly are you going to be out of the game?
Or go to jail.
Or go to jail.
I always was in jail.
Stay out of jail.
I'm trying. It just, every time. So that wouldn't make sense. You would just be throwing your money away. I grew up with a lot of siblings. So Monopoly was basically the game of war for us. And we didn't go light on anybody. The youngest, the oldest. So if you're playing Monopoly in real life, I get a little chills because I'm maybe traumatized from it. However, if you own properties, I knew when I saw my siblings going across the board, I'm like, oh, I'm about to make some money. And so that's such a good analogy, because if I was like my youngest that thought the point was to spend the money and not buy, she's so dumb. Actually, she's not dumb. She now works for me, but it took her a long time to learn that you need to buy. I knew watching them go, I'm going to make some money. I'm not just spending it. So if I landed on one of my other siblings' properties and had to pay them money, I didn't like that feeling.
That part.
Yeah. And that could change by, sometimes it was scratching. Sometimes it was bribery. But most of the time it was, let me make you an offer. And because I was the oldest, obviously the smartest, it didn't take much, but then I would own it. And then I would watch people go to my other properties and make money. Now, my main job was a banker. So owning properties wasn't even my main job. Owning properties can be, I'm not going to say side hustle because that's cringy to me, but it doesn't have to be your full time, is how you're laying it down.
Right. And so one of the things that I did when I was still working corporate was I borrowed against my 401k.
Oh, okay.
So I use that because one of the, I don't have a down payment. I can't afford
How am I going to do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Borrowed against my 401k. Use that as my down payment. So now, since I took a loan, I am paying myself back. And I'm owning property. So to your point, I still have my corporate job. So you don't have to leave corporate in order to be an investor.
Yeah.
So now you have two streams of income, because if COVID didn't teach us anything, COVID taught us that if all of your eggs are in one basket and you're letting somebody else hold the basket,
you're in trouble.
That's a dangerous situation. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
So, and then if you were to call your people about your 401k just to ask them what the balance is, they're going to try to scare you from taking your money out.
Yeah.
But guess what? We need to diversify our retirement portfolio
100%.
so that we're not just depending on our stocks.
Yeah.
Let's get some real estate too, because real estate is appreciating, meaning it's worth more over time, just like your stock potentially are, but potentially at a greater rate. And you have that asset. So I have a midterm rental, and I was recording podcasts and doing content in the midterm rental. You can't do that with your stock over here.
Right.
But it's an asset that you can physically touch and have options with whatever strategy that you decide that you want to execute.
Right. And I want to point out the difference that some people, I do get asked this all the time, maybe as an accountant, but there's a difference between depreciate and appreciate. And just like it sounds, we appreciate assets that appreciate. And I've tried to make it like so simple. The depreciating, still good to buy. Those are the ones that I feel like you got to buy it. You got to buy the equipment. You got to buy the car, got to buy the thing. But that value immediately starts going down. Now we will capitalize on the depreciation to help your tax strategy. But what's more fun is to appreciate the appreciation. And that's the one that's going to earn for you. So I like to sometimes people get those confused, and I want to highlight how the appreciation it's working for you. That's the good. Now, the other one, it's inevitable. I work with a lot of construction. You got to buy the equipment. We'll make it work for you the best we can. But also, let's keep something that's earning at the same time. So, where can people find your book? Because I think today's time, post COVID, it is so common for people to be open to the idea of multiple streams of income. More times than not, people have more than one income today. Now, way back when, if you had more than one job, like you must be broke. You must just be living paycheck to paycheck. I think today it's not looked like it's, oh, well, I have one job. Oh, you only have one? So, where can people dip their toes into your world, investing, buy the book? Where can they do that?
Absolutely. So I'm really liable to be at a coffee shop near you with the book.
Fun.
And as well as you can find the book on Amazon as well. So I can give you
Perfect.
the link so you can put it in the show
Yep.
notes. But
Yep.
I do frequent coffee shops. I love hanging
Fun.
out at coffee shops.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely be at a coffee shop near you. And
Yeah.
it is available on Amazon.
In the Louisville area, coffee shops?
Oh yes, and I'm all over the place. I'm in Southern Indiana. I'm
Okay.
also in Prospect. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I love traveling. I love a good coffee shop. I love a
Yeah.
good vibe because all
Yeah.
of them are not equal. I definitely love a good
No.
vibe as well. And,
Cool.
social media, Instagram, at Coach Dana, Instagram,
Yeah.
and as well as Facebook. My favorite platform is LinkedIn, surprisingly.
Really?
That is my, don't sleep on LinkedIn.
Why?
That's where I find out my networking events. Just really
Okay.
enjoy LinkedIn. I don't know if it's
Mm,
because a lot of time I'm looking for professionals. So like right
sure.
now, in terms of my financial literacy, so I have
Yeah.
this campaign that I'm going traveling. It's called Buy the Block, Not
Okay.
Just Bling Financial Literacy Tour. So right now I'm reaching
Oh,
out to credit unions to help sponsor the tour so that
yeah.
I can go into colleges
Cool.
and help educate them on the importance of investing in real estate. So I
Love that.
typically am looking for groups of people, and
Mhm.
LinkedIn is like one of the best platforms to do that. And you
Okay.
should be building your brand regardless. You are a
Yeah.
brand even if you're not an athlete.
Sure.
You are a brand if you're working in corporate. And guess what?
Mhm.
Corporate is handing out 60-day notices all the time.
Yeah.
And so you need to be on LinkedIn to show people what you're doing,
Oh,
regardless
yeah.
of your profession,
Mhm.
so that if you are looking or you're open to work, people can see what you've done and you can reach out
Mm.
to recruiters. Here's here's a gangster play right here. If you apply for a job
Yeah.
and that recruiter is listed, take that recruiter's name over to LinkedIn and find them on LinkedIn and message them and let them know, hey,
Yeah.
I applied for that job. It sounds super interesting. Would love to have a
Mm.
conversation with you about it because guess what? They got hundreds, maybe
So
even
many.
thousands
Yeah.
of
To
resumes.
go through. It's
Exactly.
daunting.
And hit algorithms and all this kind of
Yeah.
thing. But a personal note
Mm.
to the recruiter direct,
Love that.
what is that going to put you
Yeah.
on the list of, if
Yeah.
nothing else, they're going to pull your resume and look at it.
Right. And what do you have to lose?
Absolutely
Absolutely
nothing.
nothing.
Absolutely.
Jinx. So, okay. I'm going to try. I struggle with LinkedIn. I don't know why. I think my brand when I first started was, oh, I'm not like a regular accountant. I'm a cool accountant. And LinkedIn felt very accountant-y. But I'm going to work through that. I'm going to work through it because I'm like every other accountant. I just maybe have more tattoos or something. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
and
going to
if
work
I'm
on
looking
it.
for an accountant
Mm-hmm.
and I go to LinkedIn and you're not over there,
Yeah.
I'm
What are you
like,
doing?
right.
You don't
Because that's where
care.
the professionals hang out.
Okay. Well, now I have to. And now I'm going to keep
No
trying.
pressure, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I love that. And I love that you add the personal message because you seem like someone that would really appreciate personable touches, relatability, like you're coaching people. Do the message. What do you have to lose? Send the personal message in a world that is craving authentic relationships. Send out a little authenticity. Take a risk. So, we're going to buy the book because it's on Amazon and that's easy. Yeah. We're going to find you on LinkedIn because we're professionals and that's where the professionals hang out. And you had a podcast, you're thinking about reconvening. What's going on with that?
I do have a podcast called The Dana Spencer Show
Okay.
where I was having, struggle figuring out who I was talking to, this and the other.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with someone who was like, well, what has real estate helped you to do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's helped me to be a better problem solver.
Yeah.
It's helped me to build relationship. It helped me
Mm-hmm.
to quit corporate. And it helped me to walk in my God-given purpose.
Tell me everything. All of it. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
The Dana
resume
Spencer Show.
And I also have an online course teaching people how to get started investing in real estate, step by step by step.
Yeah.
Bite-sized videos, not like a
Ooh.
college course.
Okay.
Bite-sized videos
Yeah.
of process. And I even teach you how to analyze deals and work the numbers.
Fun.
Because I know numbers, right? Work the
I mean,
numbers. As a
sold.
real estate investor,
Mhm.
it's all about the numbers, because the old timers used to say, and they still say, you make your money when you buy. And I really didn't understand that when I first heard it. It was one of those things that I'm like, let me just store that. I don't want to ask too many questions right now.
Sure.
I'll figure out what that means on my own.
Yeah.
And once I created the spreadsheet, you literally can see the importance of buying right,
Mm-hmm.
how that directly impacts your profit. It's so cool.
Oh, I love
Like, the
that.
devil tried to get in that spreadsheet so hard when I was
Yeah, he did.
creating the videos,
Mhm.
and I was tired, and I was like, okay, let's take a break.
Yep.
And finally, and it's right, and it's so.
Oh, I love a course. I love that you did that. Creating a course takes so much commitment. Going through the course does, but I think creating takes more, because you have so much you want to say, and it's really hard to put it into layman's terms, small videos. So I commend you for finishing that course. We're gonna get the course. Super exciting. And then working with you, new homeowners that maybe want to move, athletes. I don't want people to sleep on that, because that is, I have not heard that. That is something new to me. And maybe I live under a rock. Maybe not. I think there's something special about that. I think we live in a town full of colleges and full of athletes, and people can benefit greatly from that. So thank you so much for pre-gaming with me for an hour, and then sitting in this room with me for almost another hour. I'm so grateful you allowed me to take that much of your time up, because I know you're a busy woman. So thanks for coming on today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
Yeah, you made it.
If I could do it all over again, there'd be no wish I would, should have been. Spend more time with my family and friends. If I could do it all over again, I'd wake up early and start